What is the creepiest thing you found in a forest? 3 piles of stones outside my tent. A dead man. My fire department was called out for a search for a missing person. He was supposed to report back to prison on a work release on Wednesday. We were dispatched on Saturday, after he was reported as a no-show, when someone found his car on a back road. We assumed he had parked there, then called someone to pick him up. Okay, a couple hours wandering the woods, then we don't find anything and go home. 35 minutes in, we find him. He maybe 50 yards off the gas pipeline easement, just standing there, facing away. You think he was taking a leak, until you see the rope. He had hanged himself in the worst way. The tree he attached the rope to wasn't strong enough, so he didn't break his neck. His feet were on the ground. He strangled himself. It probably took a while. He stood there, dead, for 3 days. We held his body as our captain climbed the tree and cut the rope. We wrapped him in a tarp and carried him nearly a mile through the woods, back to his car. We sat there for 2 hours while the forensics team surveyed the site and the car. I was a volunteer firefighter for 17 years. That guy is the one that still appears in my dreams, 14 years later, as I walk up the gasline trail. I see him standing there. In the middle of nowhere, numerous miles from any sign of humanity, there was a perfectly maintained 2-seater outhouse. It stood in the center of dense overgrowth and trees. Not a hint of footprints and not remotely near any path or trail, just there by itself, painted and cared for, unused, and supplied with toilet paper and magazines. As I once described, from the look of the ground surrounding the outhouse, no one had stepped foot there in a very long time. Yet, there it was, available for use. When I was a kid, I found what in hindsight was clearly a homeless person's camp in the woods by some train tracks. There was a shelter built in a tree and a burned out piece of junk used as a furnace. As a kid, it was just like cool. A fort in the woods. Today I worry what might have happened if someone came back while I was checking it out. A 200 pounds, snapping turtle covered in moss and weeds growing on its shell.